The boyfriend of Allisha Watts has been arrested. He had his bond hearing on Monday. He was denied bond, and now his wife is speaking out. Let's dive in and learn more about this case. Hi everyone, Alex with Empowering Survivors. Been covering this case now for a few weeks. Allisha had been missing for over a month, and her body unfortunately was found deceased last Thursday. And her boyfriend, James Dunmore, was arrested that same day. And so we're going to dive in and learn more about that, as well as his wife, who herself was a victim of violence by James Dunmore, has spoken out. And so we're going to hear more about what she has to say. But before we do that, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please join the Empowering family, where I try to be the voice for the voiceless missing persons, survivors, and those who need our support. So I wanted to start here with the case details. I had mentioned in my last video, on the day that James Dunmore was arrested, that the chief of police there in Montgomery County, where Allisha's body was found, he had actually said that they were holding James Dunmore in the Montgomery jail, but he was being arrested by Charlotte Mecklenburg County, which is where the county where he lives. And I made the point that if Charlotte was going to arrest him, then probably that meant that they believed that the murder happened in Charlotte, because usually it's wherever the jurisdiction, wherever the crime itself occurs, is the one where the crime is tried, right? Where the person is tried. But in this case, I looked it up, and he is actually still being held in Montgomery, and he is being charged with the felony of murder in Montgomery County. And on top of that, and I know at that time I had said that this is a developing story, we'll have more details come out. I'll share a video now just in a moment where one of the other neighboring counties that are involved in this case said that they believe that the murder did happen there in Montgomery County where she was found. So I just wanted to clear that little bit up, because it was something that stood out to me, and I thought it was could be a little bit confusing if it wasn't cleared up. This article came out in WRAL News. It says the wife of the murder suspect and boyfriend in court to support Allisha Watts' family. James Dunmore appeared in court Monday for the first time since he was charged with the murder of his girlfriend, Allisha Watts. WRAL News recently learned Dunmore is married. Artee Bruton, Dunmore's wife since 2021, was in the courtroom Monday to support the Watts family, and I apologize if I mispronounced that name. Bruton took out a domestic violence protective order against Dunmore in May after she said he threatened to kill her, kidnapped her, and sexually assaulted her. I would just say, from my experience, I'm just definitely hoping justice is served at this time, Bruton said. I know from my experience that I don't want this to happen to anyone else. Bruton said her awareness of domestic violence is now heightened, and she is thankful to be in touch with the Watts family. I just love being a support system for them, and they will be a support system for me. I'm very grateful to speak with them and meet with them. Now, I did see the police report, a copy of the police report from her. Then it didn't specify it was her, but all the kidnapping, threatening, and sexual assault was included on that report. And it said that it turned out that they were unfounded. And I believe what that means is that they didn't find sufficient probable cause or evidence to proceed. The thing is that there's rarely a lot of evidence when sexual assaults and other crimes like that are included. You have to be, there just needs to be a lot more evidence, and a lot of times it just doesn't exist. Obviously, things like physical bruises or cuts or other things like that could be used, but if there is an absence of that, it could be really difficult. It could be like a he said, she said. And so I think that we as society and police need to be more in tune with the signs of domestic violence, with red flags that could be potential for something more. And the worst part about this, and I've talked about this a lot, but I need to continue to talk about this, is escalation. Unfortunately, there are like smaller forms of violence can escalate. And look what happened here. What happened to her in May, she ended up getting a protective order against him, was not taken seriously, or there was unfounded. They didn't find sufficient evidence. I'm not an attorney, or I'm not a law enforcement officer, but that's my understanding. And look what happened. Allisha ended up dying because potentially the police didn't do enough. And maybe they couldn't. Maybe they had their hands tied. It's really, really important for us to take it seriously and try to end it when it's happening rather than allow it to continue. And maybe we need to take it more seriously, like not allow people with violent crimes to have any type of bond, even if it's high amounts, even if it's high payment amounts, right? Because how easily could somebody want to get vengeance out who already has an anger issue or violence issue to get vengeance out or do something else, you know? So I think we do need to take it more seriously. Dunmore, 51, is being held in the Montgomery County Jail without bond. If convicted of Watts' murder, Dunmore faces life in prison without parole or the death penalty. On Monday, he told the court he had no source of income and was assigned an attorney until he can be represented by one who can defend a death penalty case. So as we've seen in the case of the University of Idaho students who were killed, when there is a possibility of death penalty, there are very few select public defenders who can represent a defendant in a death penalty case. And so usually those take even longer. They might take years to go to trial partially because of that, because you want to get as much information. And the important thing here is that he is not on bond and he will be in jail until trial. The court appearance lasted only 6 minutes, and Dunmore's next court date was scheduled for September 14th. We don't know what that is. It could be a scheduling conference for the next to set the preliminary hearing. It could be some motions, but the next one will be in a couple of weeks. Supporters of Watts, including friends and family, were in attendance Monday. The judge asked everyone to stay quiet in the courtroom as he knew it was an emotionally charged appearance. Ooh, that had to be really difficult. Brenda Smith, a spokesperson for the family, spoke to WRAL News on behalf of Watts' mother. It was the first time she saw Dunmore since Watts went missing and was found dead. For me to see him the first time, I broke down. Smith says Watts' mother wants justice for her daughter. If he is the one that did it, she said that he deserves to have his eyes closed just like her daughter's eyes are closed and will never be open again. I can't imagine what would trigger him if he did it to do such a thing. Digital evidence led investigators to Watts' body on August 24th in a wooded area more than a month after her disappearance. And that was by Norman, and it was at a cemetery, the Norman Cemetery. And it says here, Moore County Sheriff Ronnie Fields said he believed Watts' body had been there since July 18th, 2 days after she was seen by friends. And we're going to hear him speak in just a minute. But Moore County is the county where Allisha was from, or is from, where she was a resident. And so all of these different counties were working together because Allisha was from Moore County. James Dunmore was in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, and she was visiting him in Charlotte. Her car was found in Anson County, which is in between between Moore and Charlotte, Mecklenburg, with him in it. Her car with him in it in Anson County, and an apparent suicide attempt. And then her body was found in Montgomery County, which is close to Moore County. And so all of those different counties, as well as the State Bureau of Investigation and the FBI, the Federal Bureau, were working together to solve this. And so there was digital evidence, cell phone pings and things like that seemed to link them to that area there in Montgomery County where her body was found. According to Fields, investigators had searched that area several times before. WRAL News asked Fields whether he believes Watts was killed in the woods or elsewhere. It is our belief that she was killed in that wooded area, Fields said. Fields said Watts' body is now at the medical examiner's office in Raleigh for an autopsy. He hopes authorities can determine Watts' cause of death. Fields did not say how Watts died. My heartfelt condolences go out to Ms. Watts' family and her friends. She had a big following. Let's listen here. to the investigators.
Yesterday was conclusion of several searches. We had searched in that area 7 or 8 times, I think, that we had been up in that area searching. We were looking in that area. There was some digital evidence that led us to that area that we needed to search.
We were kind of following the breadcrumbs, following the evidence, and searching different areas up there, moving from place to place, eliminating spots as we went.
Dunmore was taken into custody August 24th at his Charlotte area home the same day Watt's body was discovered. The case drew attention from all over the state, and multiple vigils were held in recent weeks as Watt's family, friends, and community prayed for her safe return. There will be a day of reckoning for this individual that was arrested, Field said. Now, again, remember, he is from Moore County, where she was a resident, and they were looking there as well. Then there was a Charlotte-Mecklenburg police looking for her in Charlotte. Then her car was found in Anson County with James Dunmore in it. And then the digital evidence seemed to point to Montgomery County, which is where her body ended up being found. So truly a remarkable county statewide effort to find her and then eventually arrest. I think they had sufficient probably evidence or probable cause to arrest James Dunmore because he was arrested that same day. And interestingly, they didn't say how she died, and that's part of the investigation. You don't want to give away all your cards. Just sad overall. I really, really hope that there will be justice for Allisha. A great step that James Dunmore has been arrested the same day her body was found and that no bond was issued for him. But, I was looking at her LinkedIn account, and she not only was the CEO of her own mental health related business, she had 2 master's degrees. She had a master's degree in psychology and a master's degree in counseling. And so, just a very smart, successful, beautiful woman. And not only will her family and friends suffer from not having her, but the community will suffer because she is not able to provide support, right, as a mental health practitioner and a caregiver. So it's very, very sad for the community. And I'll just say a moment here of silence for Allisha and her loved ones. And praying again for justice for Allisha. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you learned something today, please hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd welcome you to join the Empowering family, where we're a voice for missing persons, survivors, and those who don't have a voice. With that, stay safe, stay thriving. Remember to trust your intuition and make sure to keep it empowering. Bye for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications. Thank you.